what happened is I was doing readings for people. So I was doing coaching and readings for people. And it was crazy that their pain would basically go away just to the same degree or even better than it's happening as an occupational therapist when I was doing these scientific research
Sure, 'cause
modalities.
it's
And, and so I started to like outline the specific diagnoses I was dealing with. And when I see somebody, I don't see them as a diagnosis. I see them as like, just basically, I shut my eyes, I put out kind of like my energy screen out in front of me, and I just say what needs to be shown about this issue. And what I always see is a limiting belief and a stuck energy. What I call them pictures. And the pictures are something, for one thing, they're ancestral. So we do some ancestral work. They're past lives, so generational, and then they're also from childhood. All of our wounds that we have today, I firmly believe, stem from childhood. Our first 5 years of life is when all of these imprints first occurred. And so in the back of my book, I outlined all of my findings, and it's 3 columns, and the third column is suggestions for protocols for health in a mind, body, spirit perspective. So I actually combine many different modalities with my work because I'm also, well, I know we're going to talk about Feldenkrais, so I'll just bring it in right now. Feldenkrais is actually the name of he's an Israeli Jew, the guy who created it. And it's an amazing modality to help people to unlock their holding patterns in their body and to move more like they should, more of their innate patterns to move like how they did when they were a baby. So I could literally just look at somebody and see exactly where they're holding on in their body. So Feldenkrais, you could either do hands-on or you could do it like a class setting. So I have a whole library of open resources on YouTube, free resources for how to do these Feldenkrais things, like for your ribs and back pain.
and they're amazing. I have back pain. I mean, I did check those out. And
oh, you did?
oh yeah,
great.
I constantly have back pain, and I was like, what? Like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, blown away.
Yeah. So before COVID, I would see people more so in person, and I would just have people lay on my bodywork table, and I would like you, I see exactly how I need to touch you to let go of the pain. But it doesn't matter because now I'd say 95% of my work is remote, and I still have amazing results for them. Also, my whole journey has been healing myself along this healing journey. And I've also taken 2 years of coaching trainings, and I've been involved with transformational living around, I've lived in communities that were conscious, like they taught workshops. I've been involved with the workshop communities for like almost 2 decades. And so, it was a combination of the tools I learned both to help me and for other people. And I combined that into my work because I firmly believe, well, 2 things. First of all, to heal somebody's wounds, it has to come from a mind body perspective. So whatever we're dealing with, like say you're dealing with back pain, so we could talk about it on the physical level. There's always an emotional wound, emotional holding. So we need to hit it from both the physical or physiological. And I still even do this if I'm not even seeing somebody in person. I can help them to change their physiology, but also hitting it from the psychosocial.
Okay, well, let's just, for example, let's just say, okay, me with my back problem, what would you immediately go to with how to remove that? Like what?
Okay, I'll tell you exactly your thought pattern. I just uploaded it. You want to hear it?
Yep.
Okay. I love being challenged, by the way, and being on the spot. I need to carry the weight of the world. I need to carry it all.
But you're great at it. That's what I want people to see, how amazing that you are. Because I've worked with you, and I've seen all this.
No, I'm talking about you.
Oh, so okay, that I need to carry the weight of the world?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Totally.
You need to hold it all.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then just letting that go, or changing that to, I don't need to carry.
Well, I think one thing, I mean, let's just get personal here, right? I guess we're okay with that. You and I are both like open books. I'd say for you, the energy gets constricted. And so I think for you, it's like letting it flow through. That's actually what I'm seeing that vision of. And you being like the fixer, maybe like needing to do something to like, okay, so now I just want like lives back. This is what happens once you get me started. I just keep going. So I'm going to just be brief with this so we don't keep going, but this goes lifetimes back for you to where it felt like it was like all up to you. And so it's kind of like this responsibility and this heavy guilt that you have if you don't do something to fix it. That's what I say.
Hammer nail head. That is exactly one of my past lives. It was Pompeii, and I think we've actually talked about this before, and I won't get too much into this, but to bore everybody to death. But yeah, I was in Pompeii when the whole Mount Vesuvius erupted, and I felt like I had to save everybody in the village.
That's the past life I told you. Is that correct?
Yes.
I knew that there was one client that I saw that. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly that one. Yeah, and
Yeah. Okay.
I was tripped out the first time you told me about it because I was like, that's
Uh-huh.
the very first past life I ever
And
discovered.
then you felt the reverberations in your body.
Yeah,
Now, the crazy thing is did the back pain go away after that session?
absolutely. That's what remember
See, it's
I think I
crazy.
told you. Yeah, it did go away. Then later on, it would come back from time to time
Yeah.
when I
That's
was
the thing is just one session, everybody feels huge shift after my sessions. But because we're a victim of habit, you just can't expect to go to any healer. Like it's not like you've been struggling with back pain for 10 years and you go see one session and it's gone, you know?
oh, yeah.
And the reason is because in order to actually heal your body, it involves an identity shift.
Yeah,
And identity shift is like way too much. Like it's a progression, you know what I mean?
and it
You'd be
doesn't
a
happen
different person
overnight.
if it
Yeah.
shifted, which would be like anti a lot of your motives, a lot of your thinking, a lot of your family beliefs. And you don't actually want that. I think people are becoming more aware. And this is one of the points in my book that, okay, if you've worked with me and you're coming to me for something like physical in your body,
Mhm.
most likely, if you're fit, you this is one way you know you're a fit with me is you've had some sort of aha or idea that whatever the doctor told you, and maybe you just and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you have carpal tunnel, you do this and this and this, you know, which I 100% support the doctor what he says. So I don't get me wrong, I'm not anti that,
Right.
but there's something deeper inside of yourself that was causing you off balance, but you're not trained to look at what that other thing is, or you're blind to actually even see that there's a correlation. But deep inside your heart, and that's one thing I do with all my clients is I really connect them into their heart. You know, like deep inside, you know that there's something. Maybe it's the tension you're having with your husband, or the anger that you have with your child, like so often, or all the places where you hold are so like right brain and so masculine in your job. There's something like that that's taking you out of your soul's highest calling, you being your highest and best self. So there's ways when people work with me, maybe they're coming to me because they want to find a different profession or a boyfriend or heal their physical pain. But this is where I usually start. What is that thing that's taking you out of alignment? And what do we need to do to heal it? And also, I'm not one of those coaches that's like, this is what you do week 1, week 2, week 3. I mean, my group programs, yes, but everybody's got an individual, diagnosis patterns. So if you're deep into like a pattern of a lot of women right now are like right-brained holding, forcing, there's strategies I might give to everybody, but there is a certain way, and especially like as I'm doing Reiki healing, I'm going to treat each person a little bit different because each person has different upbringing, different biases and beliefs and thoughts, and that creates different imprints. And so an imprint actually affects your neurology, it affects every way that your neurons synapse. So that means the way that it is around your organs, certain organs are more affected. Like if you have a lot of anger, you maybe have the pancreas and liver that's more affected. If you have a lot of sadness, that's more kidneys, And it's really interesting. So I create a picture of what I see about their emotional state. Maybe I'll look at the physical, take it to the emotional state, and then see physiologically how they're holding in their body. And then through all my Feldenkrais training and all the everything gathered together, I put my own prescription together in my head, and I'm like, this person needs this. I think people are becoming more aware, and this is one of the points in my book that, okay, if you've worked with me and you're coming to me for something like physical in your body, most likely, if you're fit, this is one way you know you're a fit with me is you've had some sort of aha or idea that whatever the doctor told you, and maybe you just and there's nothing wrong with that. You have carpal tunnel, you do this and this and this, which I 100% support the doctor what he says. So I don't get me wrong, I'm not anti that,
Right.
but there's something deeper inside of yourself that was causing you off balance, but you're not trained to look at what that other thing is, or you're blind to actually even see that there's a correlation. But deep inside your heart, and that's one thing I do with all my clients is I really connect them into their heart. Like deep inside, that there's something. Maybe it's the tension you're having with your husband, or the anger that you have with your child, like so often, or, all the places where you hold are so like right brain and so masculine in your job. There's something like that that's taking you out of your soul's highest calling, you being your highest and best self. So there's ways when people work with me, maybe they're coming to me because they want to find a different profession or a boyfriend or heal their physical pain. But this is where I usually start. What is that thing that's taking you out of alignment? And what do we need to do to heal it? And also, I'm not one of those coaches that's like, this is what you do week 1, week 2, week 3. I mean, my group programs, yes, but everybody's got an individual, diagnosis patterns. So if you're deep into like a pattern of a lot of women right now are like right-brained, holding, forcing, there's strategies I might give to everybody, but there is a certain way, and especially like as I'm doing Reiki healing, I'm going to treat each person a little bit different because each person has different upbringing, different biases and beliefs and thoughts, and that creates different imprints. And so an imprint actually affects your neurology, it affects every way that your neurons synapse. So that means the way that it is around your organs, certain organs are more affected. Like if you have a lot of anger, you maybe have the pancreas and liver that's more affected. If you have a lot of sadness, that's more kidneys, and it's really interesting. So I create a picture of what I see about their emotional state. Maybe I'll look at the physical, take it to the emotional state, and then see physiologically how they're holding in their body. And then through all my Feldenkrais training and all the everything gathered together, I put my own prescription together in my head, and I'm like, this person needs this,
And I
and,
love
and it may not be so obvious,
you think things on the fly too. Like as you get, I love how you do that. It's like you never just follow one path. It's you'll switch
Yeah.
to things as you see them and vary it up depending.
I have one client I'm dealing with. She's got severe multiple sclerosis. Her
Right.
legs don't work hardly. And I had her do a body image acceptance. And it was the hardest thing she's ever done. Like this woman's highly successful, she's kind of done it all. She's out there and she's like, this one, she's like, it's a good thing I already paid you, girl.
Because I did
It was
work it.
really hard for her to actually look at her body.
Mhm.
And I'm like, something so simple as, and what kind of psychologist is going to like do that for you, or coach? It's not the way we're trained, but I'm like, you need to actually come into full acceptance and love. If you're not in love with your physical body, then the energy is going to be of contraction, and over time it's going to create some kind of injury or illness.
Have you heard of the polyvagal theory? And I was
Yeah, I have a video out there. It's a great video actually about the polyvagal theory, but it's a meditation to help you to activate that. And it takes you through all the organs and how to relax all the organs. Yeah. And actually Feldenkrais is great for activating the vagal nerve, the resting and digesting peaceful. Yeah.
yeah.
So one thing about the polyvagal theory is they found that, in school you're taught that there's two kinds of nervous systems, the activative one, the somatic, and the resting and digesting. But they say that there's actually a third, and the third one is the free state. So anytime all trauma victims, but especially like sexual trauma is really up right now in the world. And like all these women, it's like where all of a sudden my practice is filled with like, it's like the weirdest thing. And never before this year. But
like,
anyways,
I think they're able to be honest with it now for some reason. I think it's
but the question that they're all having, or the guilt, is like, why didn't I say something? Why didn't I do something? And what we're actually learning is that your whole nervous system was basically in freeze zone, that you actually couldn't activate the somatic right away. It came later. And so now when we're like healing it, that's when the somatic is like, we're freaking on like activation mode all of our times. Like our eyes are hyper vigilant. We're going through the world, especially we're like getting in an elevator, with other people right now. And we're like, it's like, we're like, our somatics are on because we're not living the trauma. We're living the outcome of the trauma, the pain of the trauma. We all are. We have like major healing to do right now.
yeah, absolutely. And so do you do meditative stuff and like in groups, and do you believe in the Maharishi effect and how that you can change just by people meditating together on humanity
I
on
fully believe that. Yeah, I used to have a intuitive training group that I did, but what I'm going to do it online. So in the next month or two, there's a way, you can sign up now, but in the next month or two, it's going to be online for that program, like where there's meditation. But yes, that's in my group programs. We do involve some meditation, some deep inner reflection and contemplation. And in fact, I am planning in the next few months to start a membership program. And that's going to be one of the things we'll do. We'll start with meditation for a few minutes, and then I will answer any questions and share downloads.
well, so for just to be clear for my listeners who don't know what the Maharishi effect is actually a study that they did where they took transcendental meditation people and they would basically be in one city and they would meditate for for help and wellness for the city. crime started going down. People's health was better. The air pollution cleaned up. I mean, and this was such a profound effect. You've probably seen the study that it was almost unbelievable that people were like, what?
Yeah. So
It's been
the,
replicated tons of
the
times.
thought patterns that you're having, because we're all in a morphogenic field. So if you're thinking a certain way, then everybody else is going to be like affected by your thought process. Okay.
Which is
So whoever you live with, I used to actually live in community, and it was like these like waves of like with people's the women's hormonal cycle. So like, you know, right before the period, everybody, all the men, it was like the men that were like the most like crazy, like the week before all the women's like periods started, they were like just like bouncing off the walls with anxiety, all the men. And then like the week after, there was like just everybody was like calm.
that's so funny. I actually have a client that I'm working with right now. His energy is so strong, he can literally project into the room and calm everybody in the room down, like a whole big room of like 1,000 people. And I'm trying to have him like come on and do something just to demonstrate it, but it's fantastic. I've never experienced anything like that. I mean, I can project I mean, I can do that
Yeah.
on a small basis.
Well, we're affected by the feelings of every single person we're in a room with. And I noticed that because sometimes I'm with someone, all of a sudden, like with you, my talking increases, and, you know, I kind of speed a little bit more and like maybe a little more energy in my chest. Whereas with other people, and sometimes when people are like super calm, that also speeds me up.
Yeah.
But, you know, around other people, there's just this calm, like feeling around them.
Yeah. And it's,
You could change your set point for your feeling. Like, yeah, it used to be way more uncomfortable to be around me, but now I think it's more of an easy feeling that people have around me.
oh, very much so. Yeah. You project this
Yeah.
peaceful, positive attitude. And
Oh, thank you.
no, it's great to be around. So you have a daughter as well as
Yeah.
yeah, his two now, right?
She's almost 3 now.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, wow.
Yeah.
So how are you going to raise her to with the whole intuition thing? How are you going to
Yeah.
that? Because I'm sure I don't know if your husband's like really on board with that or not, but
Yeah, so that's a question. I basically really just try to tune into what she's really feeling. I mean, it doesn't make sense if any of you have like a 3-year-old, like she'll be having these tantrums about nothing that don't make any sense.
peeling a
And
banana, that's what my daughter got.
if it's like right before she's tired, you just got to let that go. There's really nothing to be done. But when she's not tired, then I try to like really tune into her, like her feeling, what she's saying, and make her happy in that way.
So do you plan on teaching her, how to
I
do that?
think she's now, it was funny because I had a client here the other day and was laying on my table, and I was like, you know, doing a little Reiki hands on, and she comes in, Mama, Mama. And I said, sweetie, put your hand right here on her chest. And I said, now think about how you love Niles, our dog, and how you love Mama. And then put that feeling into your hand. And she did. So
Isn't
she's
it
already on her way.
that's
Yeah.
so fascinating. My daughter, I actually gave her the activation, first level activation,
Oh, that's awesome.
because she was doing it just intuitively. She sees mommy doing it, and then and people would say like, "Wow, she's got such a peaceful energy about her," and she really like she just
Well,
calms.
she probably does, being your daughter. I could see that. It often goes in opposite because you have a lot of energy, so she's probably more quiet. Yeah, I could see that.
Gemini, which makes zero sense. I'm a Virgo.
Oh, well, mine's a Gemini too, actually.
Really?
Oh, and she's like talked out. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, my husband, he's dramatic, so he's got more of the dramatic, sharp tone, and it does concern me. Like, I don't know. We'll have to see the results of that a few years down the line, but I'm definitely, it's not my style, but he gets better results with her, so I'm a little jealous. You know what I'm saying? I haven't quite figured this all out, to be honest with you.
So yeah, gosh, I don't think any of us have it figured out. And as they get older, it's really interesting if you just be open to experiencing whatever they're talking, they're so much more intuitive than we are. It's almost like we mess them up with with our self-limiting beliefs that, they're so much closer to the veil than we are. But anyway, so what steps should someone take to be like a more established spiritual being, especially with the way the world is right now? Like what's your prescription for that?
So what steps should someone take? Well, it's literally just quieting down and stopping. Create time every day to just be, like, be in nature, sit on your couch. That's my morning ritual. I sit on my couch and I have a beautiful view out my window, and I just sit there, and I mean, I have some practices. I just ground myself and I just like connect into my breath. And it's just really to feel. Lots of times we're very much in story, or we have this dialogue going, and we want to actually just move out of our stories and just be present with what is. There's many different practices, whether it's following your breath, just to kind of let all that heady stuff out. And just some other ideas are like just connecting into your body, connecting into your feeling state, like foot, knee, leg, really just connecting into your body.
Yeah.
So in order to be a really good healer, because healing comes a lot from like sixth chakra up here, but a good healer really needs to be connected into her body.
Oh, absolutely. What tips do you give to people to have them stay in the moment, have them stay present and in this moment versus it's going to happen?
Well, there's one I'll take you through right now. So you could just shut your eyes and smell the smells in your room. Taste the tastes. And listen to the sounds in the room. And feel whatever is touching your body, like feel the seat you're sitting on, feel the back support, feel your feet on the ground, feel where your arms are putting pressure on your body. See if you can feel your hair. See if you can feel your clothes on your body. And with your eyes shut, see what you see. And put your left hand onto your heart. And wait until you feel your heartbeat into your hand. Just take a moment here. And ask yourself, to your heart, what is the gift in this moment? And then wait for an answer to come up. And what's your answer?
Peace and serenity.
Great. And then I sometimes ask this 2 or 3 times. So what is the gift in this moment?
Recognition.
And then to the audience, just think to yourself, what is the gift in this moment? Then you could relax your hand, open your eyes. And when you open your eyes, you might notice your vision a lot sharper.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time.
And then do you feel in the moment now?
Totally.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And
that one is good to do several times of the day, especially when you're feeling anxiety or pressure or stress, especially in those times you feel like you don't have time for that. Those are the times to do it.
That's a very good point. I mean, often I feel like everybody feels, oh, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have 5 minutes to do this. I'm like, think about all the time that you waste doing, nothing, or what you can take 5 minutes. I promise you.
Totally.
So what do you think the line is, like where medicine stops and where the mind-body connection begins, and when should people start? I guess, I know intuitively when something's off. I don't really go to the doctor unless there's like something I cannot figure out, something really, I just have a different belief on it now, because a lot of things I haven't needed to. I've been able to heal myself from it all. And I know,
I feel like it's good to go for your preventative checkups, like mammogram for women over 40 years, I don't know. And then colonoscopy when you get to that age. And like, literally, I feel like it's important, because even though we may be the most tuned in people, we may not see these things that like this amazing science and technology of x-rays could actually see. At the same time, you don't need to have fear, because fear ignites fear, like I was saying before. So like, for instance, I have the cancer gene, so I have a precursor for cancer. And my mom is so worried about it, getting checkups. And I do go, and I think I partially go on time because to make my mom happy. But also I'm like, it's not a bad idea. So until we just got our last bill, I'm like, okay, maybe I should double check this. But anyways, when I was there last, the doctor was like, because I'm actually breastfeeding. I'm an older woman breastfeeding. And so it's harder to get, the proper. So she's like, you should come right back. We should look at this again, do a double check. And I just felt like intuitively,
Mhm.
I don't feel like I have anything to worry about. And as me as a psychic, when I feel that way, but a doctor's telling me something, I'll probably get a second opinion. And
Yeah, yeah,
it's never a bad idea. Even we don't know everything about our bodies, because sometimes it could be denial, a lot of reasons why it's not being shown to us. Um, but in my book, as I outlined all the precursors, like, I don't quite fit into the precursors right now for breast cancer. So, in ovarian cancer, for instance, I also have the BRCA gene for ovarian cancer. And I've had relatives who have died, great aunts and uncles who have died over ovarian, but ovarian is really like loss of childhood, like loss of your childhood or not a void of childhood. And like also kind of like a sadness with your situation with your partner, which I could literally see that being true in my generations because nobody got divorced. Like our grandparents,
right.
like no grandparents have gotten
Yeah,
divorced. You're
yeah.
set in your situation and
You
there's
stay
sadness.
together and work it out, like no
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah. There's sadness around or organ area that there's truth to that because that's where you bear your fruit. So it makes sense. And it makes sense for a lot of women right now. So, but at the same time, I'm not going to be like cocky and be like, oh, I don't have the precursor, so I'm not going to get it. So
Well, that's very good advice, and I mean everybody should pick up this book. I mean, really, it's amazing. Like she said, she outlines all the different things, so it's truly this is a wealth of knowledge. Nobody has done this before. Has really laid this out like in a medical way to where you're actually getting answers for things. It's not vague. It's very specific about here's what to do for this, and it all makes sense to me intuitively too. So I was really I mean, I expected to love it, but I was really blown away. And
mm.
I'm still
Yeah,
like,
it really took me like 4 years to write it. It was a hell of, I mean, this is a manifestation. You only manifest what you want. And even though like I wanted clients during coronavirus for 6 months, I was literally working on my book 30 to 40 hours a week. And so I just ironically, no clients were reaching out to me. It was just really ironic. And then as soon as I felt like I was done, which was just a few months ago, like 2, 3 months ago, they started calling again. So I'm like, okay, perfect. At least I'm in control.
yeah,
Your cross motives are what's preventing you from manifesting. So when you say you want something, you have to be absolutely sure you really want that.
yeah.
I was like, I need to get this book done. Like the soul calling was like, just get this book done. And I didn't know why, because it's like, I'm not making money from it. Books are money out, they're not money in. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get clients through my book or anything, but it was just a project. I'm one of those, I like challenges and I like projects. Even I'm not like money motivated. So like if I was money motivated, I would be
We're
doing
in the
some,
wrong profession.
yeah, I know. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I mean, seriously, if you read the book, the reviews already like on Amazon and everything, they're just, I mean, people are just
Oh,
really
thank
focusing
you.
on it.
Yeah, I can't wait for your review. By
Oh,
the way, the Barnes and Nobles is a hard copy, like hard cover, and then 'cause that's why it's like $3 more. And then the Amazon's a soft cover, just so you know.
okay. And they can get both the workbook and
Yeah.
the book. Okay, great. I didn't pick up the workbook yet, but I'm going to get that for sure. So,
Okay.
um, and so they can get a hold of you and book you for appointments at www.shara shara.ogin.com.
That's right.
And
Okay, well, if you actually book my coaching program, I'll just give you the book for free. So I do packages. I do single sessions here and there, but I mainly do packages because packages are the real deep work. Desire meets desire. So if you really want something, I'm going to meet you there. And I'm like full on. Like if you need to reach out to me between sessions, text, call, if something's going on, I'm there for you if you have that desire. That's like my agreement with my package.
and,
I hold your vision. We have a consultation and I see where you want to go. And I'm like, I'm going to support you with getting there.
and listen, it's been amazing having you on. And we've wanted to do this for so long already, so I know I'll have you on again at some point. So
Awesome. Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
All right.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Much love. Bye.